Coach, is this team ready to go?
We got 2 more days of practice, so we got good weather. Excited for 2 more days, and then we'll be ready to go on Friday.
Have you got a rotation set for this weekend?
I do. Garrett Saylor will go on Friday, Cooch will go on Saturday, and then Jake Hunter, a freshman, will go on Sunday.
What's non-status?
He will not pitch this weekend. Violation of a team rule, and so he will not pitch.
How long is that going on for?
I don't know. So
Obviously, big spot for Garrett. So I think it's maybe a second or third career start. Just what do you tell him going into that?
just pitched like he's been pitching for the past, I guess, 8 months. Coach Knight and him have worked hard on his sinker, and he was our best starting pitcher in the fall and has continued on being that in the early preseason.
How about hitting the ball? You guys been playing scrimmages. You feeling good with the way they're hitting the ball right now?
We got a lot of different lineups we can put out there. I think I said on media day, we can go really defensive, we can go really offensive, we can go somewhere in between, but I think our guys have done a good job and they're ready to go.
Not to give any secrets, but what kind of offense do you look at for Bryant?
For us, for our offensive, I have not looked at I know who their rotation is. They're throwing a righty on Friday, a righty on Saturday, and a lefty on Sunday. It's tough to get a lot of information. I think the first 2 guys are transfers who pitch at other schools. So we'll get as much information as we can, but early in the season it's just hard. You got to go out there and kind of bob and weave a little bit, but we want our guys to be aggressive and go out there and score as many runs as we can.
Is it one of those weekends where you try and get as many guys in as you can to just get some guys on the field?
We're going to do everything we can to win the game. So if we put 9 out there and it's only 9, then no offense, this isn't Little League where you got to play 2 innings. So I do foresee a lot of guys being able to come off the bench, though, because we are deep.
Is it hard to scout these guys and no one's played a game yet and not knowing a lot about them?
It is. And there's video and stuff. If you're facing a guy that pitched a lot last year, there's a lot of video out there. But there'll be some on these guys, but probably not a ton. I go back to when we played Quinnipiac in the 19 regional. That was as naked as I've ever felt as a coach going into a postseason because there just wasn't a lot of information out there on those guys.
Do you have a batting order as far as what you're thinking right now? Or are you going to wait for the next 2 days?
Well, I have one written down in my office that you're not going to see.
I snuck in there a minute ago.
Yeah, well, see, it's covered up, so you wouldn't know where it is. But no, look, the next 2 days of practice, rents due every day. I tell our guys that all the time. So that could determine if a guy's playing or if he is not playing or hitting in a certain spot.
Does that carry over to the pitchers week to week? Can we put too much stock on who starts this week, or can that be totally changed for next weekend?
Well, after Sunday scrimmages, Cooch and all the pitchers were out there, and we talked about the starting rotation. And I asked Cooch, I said, in your 5 years here, the guys that started on opening weekend in the position they did that end up being that way at the end of the season? And even in COVID, it didn't. So normally it maneuvers around. Last year, Gavin was, of course, hurt to start with and was coming back, but Tyler Smith started on Friday, and all that stuff was jumbled up at the end of the season because, guys pitch well, pitch in different roles, and you figure it out on the fly a little bit.
Jake Hunter seems like he's just done a good job of pounding the zone this preseason. What have you seen from that?
Well, this past weekend, he stuffed it against, what is some of our better hitters. So I was actually pretty frustrated with our offense, but he did a really good job. He's pounded the strike zone and just a very competitive freshman. A lot of times, sometimes I can get a little nervous out there. He has not seemed to get nervous or anything faze him so far.
The starters this weekend, so the pitch count, pretty low because of where we're at in the season.
Yeah, Malcolm, they'll all be on pitch counts. Thanks, Bailey, for bringing that up. I wouldn't say pretty low. AK's done a good job of getting their pitch count up, but they ain't going to go out there and throw 100 pitches.
What's the level of excitement for the season out of the guys? Do they have a little extra pep in the step this week?
Yes, the weather's been good, so they've been out here bouncing around. But no, they're excited. They're tired of playing each other, so it'll be a good test for us coming up this weekend.
As far as the leadoff spot, is that a spot that you want to have somebody set in? I know you've messed with it as far as one of your better players in the past. You kind of have an idea of who you might start there.
Got an idea about it, but I'm not real set. I felt pretty confident in it last year and when Bryant Packard was, but I think it'll probably be a couple different guys early in the season to see what the best fit is for our offense.
How are you starting Friday health-wise? Is everybody pretty much injury-free at this point? Have you got any bangs and bruises?
Groves threw a bullpen this week. He was battling a sore arm. Merritt Beaker will throw against hitters actually tomorrow just for one inning. So those two guys from a pitching standpoint were a little bit banged up. And Aiden Edwards, a freshman catcher, his arm's been bothering him, but he's coming back as well. But I don't know if he'll be available to catch this weekend.
Obviously, with Wiz and Hunt out, opportunities for other guys to step up. Is that kind of your message to the team? Hey, it's just one weekend opportunity there for everybody.
This is no disrespect to Carson Wiz and Hunt, but it's the deepest pitching staff that we've ever had here. And I told him if they were scared to play because he wasn't pitching, then turn in their uniform. So I feel very confident with the guys we're going to run there.
Coach, team rules. Is it something off with you, or can you elaborate?
I'm going to give you the Bill Belichick violation of a team rule, not rules, rule. Singular. Yeah. Yeah.
Has what you've seen in the preseason and in scrimmages held back up your thought that this is a deep pitching staff? I mean, are they showing that to you right now?
They are, and there's a lot of guys that are young guys that are continuing to come, and you can see just flashes of really good stuff and them executing pitches. And like I said, Coach Knight's done a really good job with those pitchers. So I'm excited to see what those guys can do.
August, the non-conference season, it looks pretty tough. And what are you expecting to get out of that? And how do you hope that prepares moving forward?
Yeah, I've said to you guys at Media Day, I think it's the toughest schedule we've ever had here on paper. But you put it together 2-3 years earlier, so you're really not sure how teams are going to play and how good they're going to be. But I know this: if you don't show up in college baseball these days, you're going to lose. So we really focus on ourselves and make sure our guys are prepared and mentally ready to